2 minuter kvar.
Yeah, but there's always some mic check involved. Yes! Yes!
Jag kommer ihåg när vi satt i ett annat rum. Vi hade någon sån här rum på nedervåningen, va? Nej, var det
Ja, precis.
uppåt?
Och vi släppade med en laptop, micken och Alfons, och vi var tvungna att sitta så här för att synas i bild. I don't know, det känns bättre att ha allting på hemmaplan i vår hörna. Even if this is not the nicest view and we have to...
Alltså jag funderar på om man kunde flytta de skärmarna, om det är så att man råkar filma folk genom att ha kameran här, eller att man har kameran vet någon annanstans och sitter vid det bordet istället.
Ja, men liksom det blir ju mer liksom det blir mer proper. Och beroende på streamen om vi bevisar liksom editorbyggen så där. Nu tror jag inte jag satt upp OBS med streamingnycklarna till den här datan.
Just det, men
For next time.
Next time. Jag tänker att vi ändå har sån här regelbundet liksom. Så då är det nice att ha en setup som...
Om du vill köra en när jag är på semester så får ni... Får ni
lista ut det.
Ja.
Det är lugnt, vi gjorde det innan.
Ja, men det gick bra. Ni hade mer regelbundet förut och sen kom jag och prova nytt. Okay, now it's 3 o'clock. Now we can say it's official.
Okay, god morgon. Oh yeah, everybody's there already. How long have they been observing us?
Oh yeah, I need to open let's see.
Does anybody speak Swedish in here? Yeah, god eftermiddag. God morgon. How many are we? A bunch?
A bunch
I
there.
think that's pretty good.
YouTube, I think we're
cool.
Come on in. And for once, I think sound is good.
Nice. Cool.
Sound might be too good, so we'll turn it down if necessary. It's smashing.
I'm so happy to be back. Okay, should I do like a clap and like now this is the official start?
Okay, yeah, we can say
okay.
Yes, and then introduction.
3, 2, 1. I'm Philip Koreanos. And this is Jump Space.
A few alcoholic beverages deep.
Yeah. I haven't been here for a while. It's been months actually. I've been on parental leave with my family. Sweden, we have that kind of thing, so it's been really nice. So you've been hosting with other people?
Yes.
In the studio?
We've it's been a few months since we moved into this new square where we just it's like people just come and go.
Yeah.
It's less private than it used to be, but I've done my best from my little desk here with various guests on. I think last time we had you on, and so that was fun because he's knowledgeable about stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and the rest of us aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's cool. Like, it's great to be back. So I've been a bit absent from both the Discord and these streams because of that. But now I'm back, so that's great. And obviously we just released big updates.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, what do you guys think? I'm super happy about it. I think obviously the main thing is the big jump map. And you can expect us to kind of expand on that concept quite a lot in the future. We're throwing around a lot of fun ideas. Maybe some levels don't have this lava wall. Maybe some levels don't have a finale either. So you're rather like maybe chasing a ship that's flying around on the maps, and you're like, so we have a lot of fun ideas there, and I think it really opens up creatively a lot of options. But it's great to see that a lot of you guys are appreciating that, and that's really cool. We obviously also, I guess, as everybody has seen, did a big update on the on-foot combat as well. Some of you were a bit frustrated about the difficulty, so I thought I'm gonna cover that quickly as well, address it rather. We are testing things. This is early access, so we deliberately made it a bit more difficult than we thought would be perfect. It's easier to kind of ask for forgiveness later, but we are literally, as we speak, like tuning things. So I think there will be an update later today, and I think we will continue making small things and updates for a couple of weeks moving forward. Mostly bug fixes, of course, but balancing for sure. And I think it's already been significantly improved since just the day before yesterday, and I think we still have some things that we want to fix. So really appreciate your feedback on that. Also, if you want to help out, it's super nice to get people doing videos. So if you kind of like, okay, this is too hard, or this situation was too crazy, too easy, or too hard, or whatever, if there is a video attached to the feedback and the statement, it's much easier for us to kind of look at, you know, why or like the circumstances, because it could be a bug that only happens in that particular session, or it could be, oh yeah, we actually did not test 3 players on challenge rating 1. We only tested the other kind of configurations, because this game, you know, as we all know, is like, usually when you make games you have like easy, medium, hard, or whatever, and it's like linear, but we have like 2 axes, like player count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then challenge rating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows, in the future we might have more than 5. And you know, it's difficult for us to test everything, and so that's why we kind of love your feedback, and it greatly helps us to kind of look at where we might have slipped and made some mistakes, or maybe pulled things a bit too far. But with that said, I think the idea was that we thought the game was way too easy, and we wanted challenge rating 4 and 5 to be hard for even us at the studio. And I think we accidentally made the easier part of it, like easier challenge ratings, a bit harder than it should be. But you know, rest assured, we are literally updating every day now to kind of like do small tweaks and see what you guys say and so on. But if you still have feedback, you know, just make a video, like make a small recording, like, hey, look how crazy this looks like. That is much more helpful than just writing an opinion piece, you know, a document, because we don't necessarily know, you know, what happened before or after your feedback, or like what level was it, you know, how many players was there, and what challenge rating, and that has a huge impact on these things. So, you know, if you want to help out, please make a short video. We've already seen a couple of videos that have been extremely helpful, and we've been making adjustments according to that. So, but yeah, with that said, you know, we're as you probably can see, we're making big drastic changes to the core of the game, wherever we want, like all over the place, and we're going to continue doing so for at least a year. So you can expect the next update to be completely crazy in some other way, until we kind of try to balance things out, and then the next update.
We're gonna shake up the meta with every update.
Oh yeah, next one will definitely shake up the meta for sure.
I mean, because we want to do the same thing that we did now, but for the other variety of enemies, like the flying.
Yeah, exactly. So since I was gone, and I'm the guy doing all the space combat, nothing changed. But one thing that we really feel is like the shooting experience of shooting all the enemies, and the reactions, and everything feels really good there. And we want to do a serious pass on the space combat, making sure that all the ships have sort of much more distinct individual behavior. They have more interesting cool attacks, new enemies as well. You know, the Corvette, for example, is the big ship in the game, but it's super boring, and I want it to be like a boss fight. You're like, shit, the Corvette is coming, oh my god. Or, you know, or have several different types of Corvettes, and make them very, very distinct to the smaller ships. And also, of course, the boarding. You board another ship, that should be like, it's quite a unique thing that our game has, and it should definitely be something that once you grapple onto a ship and you basically enter it, that's going to be like, wow, so cool. So that's one big one of the big focuses we have for the next update is to do a similar kind of process on the ship side, and I'm sure you guys are gonna hate it at first before we get all the tunings and tweaks correctly. So
No, it's gonna be so cool.
yeah.
I mean, like we haven't mentioned this a little bit because we focus too much on like it's like, hey, we put the power grid in the hangar, but we did more stuff to the power grid, meaning that we can now put it on the enemy ships, kind of.
Yeah, that's definitely an option to do. You could make like some sort of puzzle on a level where you're like, oh, we need to enable or open or close doors, or turn on automatic turrets defending something, or enemy stuff. So we have tons of options there that we have not even explored, because this is only like technical fixes that we made working, and the only result right now is the engineer panel in the hangar, but it could be a completely different grid with completely different plugs powering completely different things as well. So that's some really interesting design avenue we haven't really had time to look at yet. So that's something we definitely wanna look at. In terms of, I just want to cover one thing that's really been discussed a lot, is the performance, crashing, freezes, and one huge thing that I think is big for us here at the studio, but maybe hasn't been. You guys obviously don't see much, is that we've updated the whole engine. So we're running Unity 6, and we expected it to be a pain in the ass to do. Doing big engine updates is always a huge problem. It's gone a lot better than I thought, but one side effect is that, especially on AMD graphics cards, there is still a lot of stuttering, a lot of freezing, a lot of stuff like that. We on the experimental channel, people who tried that with AMD cards, you could even witness some really crazy kind of, I don't know, it looks like your graphic card is completely broken. So it's something that we are super aware of and working on. And what, just to explain a little bit what the freezes and stutters are, technically, whenever you're playing an effect or showing a material of an item, let's say a weapon, for example, for the first time, there is a lot of compute that happens, and that data is being stored on your computer. We call it shader warm-up. And usually most games kind of do that the first time you start up the game. You kind of have this little progress bar doing shader warm-up. And I think, in our game we show that progress bar as well. But we don't cover all the shaders, it doesn't really fully work the way it's supposed to. So the problem is then that, you're playing and you pick up this gun or you shoot this gun for the first time, and the game is like, okay, I want to show some effects. Those effects don't have the shader warm-up yet, so the game kind of stops trying to do the compute necessary to store that information for later. So a lot of the freezes only happens the first time when you do something. That's the positive, but that it's something we are super aware of, and we even have examples of the freezes happening for like 5-10 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. We just got like a computer at the office just to try these things out, so we're aware of it, and I think it's going to get a lot better like in the coming weeks. So, but in the meantime, a lot of people have mentioned running DirectX 11 has helped. Also, like if you just play for an hour, the freezes will be much less frequent, or maybe go away completely. So don't freak out if it performs crappier than it did before the update. Play 1 or 2 missions, it should be fine. Just give us a little bit of time, and we'll fix it. So that's one of the hiccups. I actually was having like anxiety would be a lot worse. So I'm like, okay, if that's the only big thing that we're having, then I think we're okay. So just give us some time to sort these things out.
Yeah, I mean, like the difference that the 2 weeks of experimental had.
Oh yeah,
was huge. So
thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
thank
that.
you for that. So like two more weeks now, and it'll be smoothing down. Like
it was incredibly broken on the experimental channel for the people with AMD cards, and we were like, "What are you talking about? Everything is fine." And then you look at the videos, going, "Whoa, what the hell is happening?" But we quickly found out what the problems were. So just give us some time there, and I hope we can get everything up on, sort of on an okay level. But yeah, so experimental is super helpful, and of course we have quality assurance, like a team helping us out. But there's so many hardware kind of configurations out there. Whether you have lots of memory on the graphics card or a little memory, lots of RAM or little RAM and stuff like that. So it's very difficult for a small studio like us to kind of like cover all these things.
It's so hard.
Yeah, back when
It's
I
always
worked
something.
when I worked at EA, you know, they had like a whole company set up in Romania or something, and they were like hundreds of people testing. You know, had every single computer just lined up, and every morning they would like play through all the levels of the entire game and sort of live report if something had specifically broken in the builds before yesterday. So you were, as a developer, you were really served with everything on a silver platter, and right now it's just us and you. So thank you so much for letting us know, and like you guys who helped us out at Experimental, like a million thanks. You deserve the best, and you know, we're doing our best to fix this. Cool. So that was it. We have a few, like, when it comes to what's going to happen in the near future, I think mostly bug fixes. We're going to look at one thing that's a bit odd right now is how you acquire new components, because before we used to have component loot. So like you would be like, okay, this destination has components as loot. That's gone now. So the only way to get new components is to raid a Corvette, which is a bit odd. Nobody knows that's how you. If you're new, you wouldn't know. We're gonna make it so you can see it on the jump map. Aha, this destination or this sector has a new component. You go there and you know you complete the objective and then you get a new component. So that's like a small tweak that might, like, new players right now probably have a hard time getting new stuff because of that. But we were aware of it. It's a bit of a thing that slipped past us. We didn't have time to fix it right away. And then a few body bot fixes that I have in queue, so he can also use ammo packs that are left on the ship.
Finally.
I have the fix, but I didn't dare to submit it because, you know, we've got bigger problems right now. But it will come next week.
Yeah, there's like once this has settled down, we'll do a longer write-up and post it to the Steam of all the small things. I mean, like, there was some smaller stuff that we added right after the big update that like some people might have missed in the patch notes. That like now ground enemies drop ammo, which is kind of like a bigger change that we just kind of slid in at the end.
Yeah, that was added like yesterday evening or something.
And coming up is like keeping your guns on you when you respawn, which also has a big effect. So like,
that's a big change.
Like, there are bigger stuff that we just kind of like slid in now that we need to.
Yeah. So the update that is cooking right now. Good point. Before, when you died, or in the build today, when you die, you lose all your equipment, and that was just a feature that we've had for years and not really thought about it. But it's quite punishing, especially now that enemies are a little bit tougher than they used to be. So we're gonna remove that. So like, if you die and respawn back in your ship or at a respawn point, you keep your equipment, and then we're gonna defer to later what happens if you fail a whole mission, for example. I think today you lose all of your gear completely. Maybe we'll reevaluate that later. So yeah, I think that will be out today later. That we're a bit more nice with that. The downside, of course, is that you kind of like, there is less risk involved, but you know, we're gonna probably reevaluate the whole thing with the loot loop or the meta game a lot in the next update. I can't really share too much about that today, but we're gonna share that maybe next next live stream or the live stream after that, how you know, the loot you collect or during a mission, how we can make that feel more valuable, and you know, setting up for the next mission might be a little bit different than it is today. Maybe we'll see. We're gonna share more about that later.
So no confirmation of if the gun locker is happening. We might have a different idea.
Yeah, that.
But
kind of
something's gonna
something
happen.
that something that kind of fulfills that hole, but maybe not literally that. Because we really want the space fantasy of you being like this scrappy crew collecting, you know, everything you find has value, and maybe not reset everything from scratch every time you go up on a new mission.
Yeah.
So
How how much more do we want to share about the updated roadmap? That we've shuffled a few things around, and like can,
that's true.
we have something. It's slightly tweaked.
Yes.
The things that we talked about today that I just added. Should
Yeah.
we talk a little bit like
Yeah,
just
we could absolutely do that.
let
So
me just slide this up here?
So the
We
big
can,
thing,
Let's see.
the big thing is we're gonna revamp the roadmap a bit. We're gonna focus a lot more on the core loop of the game, you know, and sort of make everything feel really rewarding, and
yeah.
wait a bit with the story stuff.
Switch camera for the. Hold on.
So we're not gonna make
There we go.
any new
Sorry, Discord.
story missions or characters maybe in the hangar for the next update. Like I said, we're gonna look at the core loops. You know, what happens with all the loot that you collect. You know, what you do in one mission, how does that impact the next mission? How do we handle all the stuff you have on your person? And sort of space combat, can we make that really cool as well?
Yeah. So for the chapter 2, the phase 2 that we're in now, we had from the beginning. It's like we can add more story, but we pushed that up to future to phase 3. But then we added a little bit of new stuff down at the bottom. Like some new cards we didn't have before. Because
Oh yeah.
like we didn't have a card for improving the on-foot combat, but that was a big thing that we did this patch. So so that's done, as you can see,
Yeah.
and then some more stuff that has come up.
Yeah, and like you mentioned here, we have the ship life system. So that's, I think, is going to be a huge improvement to how things, how you play the game, basically. So one issue that we have today, and we've even more so in the past, is that, like, you never lost because you underperformed while running on foot. You always lost because you would lose in a space battle. And we want, you know, your performance on foot to be sort of equally as, how should I put it, challenging or sort of like how well you do on foot should be equally as important as how well you do when you have a space battle. So we're gonna look at how lives work or how health work, and sort of make sure that if you say die many times on foot, that actually has an impact on the mission itself. So today, for example, we're, you know, if you die and respawn, that damages the ship, or if somebody tries to revive you, that costs materia, right? The downside with that is you have to be revived so many times, or die or respawn so many times before you kind of come to the point where you're at the losing condition, compared to the space battle where you just run out of health and that's it. So we're gonna sort of interlink those two, where like, okay, maybe we as a crew have 4 lives, and once that runs down to 0, we have like a mission number, let's say 2 lives for the mission. So 4 of us die, now we have 1 life left in the mission, and then if the ship health goes down to 0, we lose another life. So and that will kind of help us kind of balance them two out. So like sometimes maybe you as a crew feel like, yeah, the ship is not doing super well, but we have a few crew lives left. We should prefer to go with an on foot sector next time. And we want all these things to kind of play in, so that it is, you know, always important how you perform, and then also make it so whenever you find an extra life, that's like a big deal. It's not something you can just craft. So I'm sure we're gonna share that in the future. It's one of those things that's quite easy technically to implement, but then it's gonna be a lot of testing and a lot of evaluation to make sure that it feels fair. And we create those situations where like, okay, we're doing really bad on foot, so let's see if we can not sacrifice too much, or we need to make sure we don't die next time. And that would be great. If you make it harder, I guarantee that's a mistake. Yeah, our intent is not for this game to be hard, but we want a very big span of like, you know, challenge rating 1, you know, anybody should be able to complete. Challenge rating 5, we should struggle, even if we are developers and know every single system in the game, we should struggle on challenge rating 5. So we want to support the whole range there. And what we've done in this update is probably shifted the challenge rating 1 to 3 a little bit more to the difficult side, and we need to shift that a little bit back, but keep the ones who really want to challenge challenged, basically. So that's where we're at. So the intent of this life system is not to make the game harder. It's more like, you know, you don't like risking a crew member's life is as valuable as the ship taking lots of damage, basically, which is not really the case today. So that's one of the things. Yeah, we talk about persistent inventory. Exactly how that's gonna work, we'll see. But what I can say is, you know, people are talking about lockers. They want to store things. You know, if you find an engine that should feel like a good thing to find, today it's kind of useless. I don't think you can even find an engine in the loot because it's so useless. We don't even share it. So we have ideas on how to make that work. And then renown system, yeah, a bit too early to talk about, but we're looking at different ways to make credits more valuable, and that you as a player kind of build your fame around the adherence, and the more you play, the more kind of options opens up for you to decorate maybe your hangar and stuff like that. So it's kind of a long-term thing that you work towards.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like, we haven't added anything fun to progress towards in a bit.
Yeah.
Like, we must have been focusing on like the core loop and replayability, but now people want more stuff to collect. Once they've maxed out and have a bajillion dollars.
Yeah. One question here: are engines and ship components gonna be rewarded? Yes. Not fundamentally. Like the engines will be there and you plug them in, but yeah, we're gonna look at the components. We're gonna have new components as well, and I think right now, not super happy with the fact that, you know, we have this whole system for, you know, changing up the components in the ship and simulating all these components, but the only thing we do with them is that they go critical, and then you fix them, and that's it. We want reconfiguring the ship and maintaining all these components, and, you know, them failing in interesting ways to be much more of the core loop. And, you know, ideally you would want this kind of experience where, like, okay, parts of the ship are barely keeping together, but we're still going for the finale, the final mission, the final sector of the mission, and we barely survived, and, you know, we get to fight another day and go back to the hangar and repair the stuff, or crap, I found we have this really nice engine, but it's about to fail on us, and we're really motivated. We have to change it somehow. We can't keep flying with this thing. But the only thing we have available is to craft this super crappy engine replacement, but it will get us there. So during a mission, have situations where you have to rethink your ship setup. And sometimes things go wrong. Maintaining the ship should be a thing, and today it's not really. So that's something that we'll definitely review, but it's not like we will remove components completely or something like that. But make them have more impact and give you incentives to change things up. Maybe you find components with sort of, I don't know, artifact infused or something, so they kind of have special abilities or really powerful overpowered numbers that kind of motivates you to kind of change things up as you go. So there's like a series, several layers of things that we want to explore when it comes to the components. It's one of those things that like not that many. It's like maybe us and Void Crew that does that. So it's a very unique feature, but we're definitely kind of not really leveraging that nearly as much as we should. Yeah, so that's definitely something that we can work on and make interesting. Right now, like if the engines fail, you just fly super slow and that's it. The reactor, if that like it doesn't even fail, because it's so punishing when it does, that I had to write a specific code to kind of prevent that from happening. But there are stages where like, well, maybe there is still some power on the grid, but so it's not like 1 and 0.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something we're gonna explore and kind of work on.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
there's a lot of stuff that like all of the stuff that we just covered. I mean, we haven't fully finalized what's gonna be the focus of update numero 4 for the summer.
Yeah.
But we have a pretty good idea of what
We
focus
have
on
an
now.
internal list, and we're not ready to share everything. But the things I've mentioned is discussions we're having right now. So,
But we want to make it exciting and give some.
oh yeah, it
some,
will
like, new
definitely
stuff.
be a huge. It will be a huge improvement. Your ship breaking is never fun. Yes and no. I think if you look at like a game where everything has durability, and once it has 0 durability, it breaks and then it's over. I totally agree with that. But there is this middle ground where if something is failing, for example, it doesn't like. Let's say you have an engine that is like really acting up, and you're. And you're boosting, and suddenly you get like twice the speed as you're supposed to have, and it keeps boosting for like 15 seconds straight. You're like, whoa, this is super cool. But
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
end of it,
Yeah.
it kind of like just goes kaput and starts burning in the engine. Like that's kind of interesting and fun. Like it doesn't have to be negative only,
Yeah.
or just slowly degrading until 0. It could be quite a dramatic sort of thing, and then once the boost ends, there's just this fire in the engine room, and you're like, you have to deal with that. So every time you boost, you don't know what's gonna happen. It could be something like that. And since we simulate so much with the ship, it's very easy for us to make those things happen, right? So I think it would be fun to explore that. We'll see.
More like, more unpredictability of like what can happen. I mean, like now people have gotten used to the emergencies that can happen, and
Yeah.
like usually when you play like four players, Chance Rating 5, it's like that if you take 1 bullet, 3 fires will spawn, and it's like it's not super fun because you always know what's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
you won't be getting tired of like the chore of the like same fires. So
yeah. We're definitely
like-
looking into like improving all of those interactions and making a few more. Like right now, there's no emergency that makes the engineering panel kind of screw up. They're like the material leaks are like super boring. So we have a lot of ideas there how to make them more interesting. And then of course like the ones that are already there, most of the time you just bring up the gun, like zap it, and then you're done. they've been that way for years, and we just had to prioritize other things. But I think now we're slowly getting to the point where we can really work on what the core of the game is, which is the ship, right? And sort of you being on the ship and all the fun things you would expect, all those fantasies. So I think, you know, exactly where we will end up with all these things, and if we have time to do everything for the next update, we'll see. But that's where the discussions are today, at least. And then I guess people are wondering when the next update is going to be. I can say, like, the time it took between this one and the last one, I think the last one was at the end of December, if I remember correctly. I think we'll have the same cadence this time, so in a couple of months.
Yeah.
We might do a smaller update in between, who knows, but that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. For the next big, it's like it's gonna be the summer one, and when in summer we'll see exactly more specific as we get closer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another really interesting part of the game is the sensors, where you just right now you go in and you just click everything and you're done. That's something we really want to look into as well, like in making it sort of fun to kind of sit there and kind of probe around and have much more exploration on the levels. Right now, if you play the game for a while, you jump into a sector, you recognize it, you know what's going to happen. And I think that's a huge opportunity for us to make it much more interesting in terms of like having things happening there, or secondary points of interest, or things around that you can explore and give you options. Like, okay, there's a big boss ship next to our objective. Can we afford taking that out and lowering the heat, or should we just ignore it? I know that there is a huge ingot vault on that shipwreck that's not always there, but it's guarded by a lot of ships or a lot of on-foot enemies or whatever it is. Should we do that as well? So we wanna look at that and sort of populate the levels that we have and sort of change things around. Every time you visit a sector, it's not the same, and I want those things to kind of provide opportunities and sort of make you have a decision. Like, you risk something and then you get something in return. But yeah, that also includes sensors and how they work, and make that much more interactive and fun. Somebody mentions oxygen. I don't know if anybody played the original prototype of this game. I had oxygen in. I can't say I really liked that mechanic. It was all just a long progress bar to dying. It's the same as, some games have hunger. How do you make hunger fun? It's just like, okay, if you don't eat, your character sucks until you eat. With oxygen, it's just like, well, what happens in the real world? You die. So it's just a long progress bar of dying. So I had it. It didn't add much. People were just dying all the time. So I actually removed it. So unless someone comes up with an amazing idea for how oxygen should work, or hunger, because it kind of is the same thing, just a prolonged oxygen loss. Then please post in the feedback channel, because I'm curious. It's like a good idea for those things. I haven't seen a single game that pulled that off in sort of a interesting way. Somebody suggested gravity. Technically, we have absolutely no problem with that. We could just turn off.
For that one?
Yeah, somebody said a gravity component.
Inside the ship. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like, our game obviously is so... Like, we've spent so much time, or we've had to spend so much time on, different types of gravity, and you just flip your character and land. So we could easily turn off gravity inside the ship. But it's kind of a messy experience because the spaces are so tight. It's not really fun to do. You want a bit more larger rooms and larger, and it's kind of slow. Like swimming, which is essentially what zero gravity is in our game, it's not that fun. It's kind of just tedious and slow. That's why we added the jetpack and the grappling. The grappling was just made for doing zero G movement more interesting, but then it worked out so well that we decided to have it all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, just the first thing that I thought of when I saw like the when I saw that component for zero gravity. I was like, it's like, yeah, it's like that does sound super cool to have something break and then like that breaks another ship. But then like on a programming level, like that would just be a nightmare of like what would your like rotation be when the ship moves? Like just having the ship function in terms of physics now took so much work, and then like just thinking like the programmer brain, I'm like, it would not work.
Yeah, I think like what would happen if you turn off gravity in the ship is that you would just follow with it. So if the ship turned, you would kind of like turn with it.
But then if you want to like, but then if you float out through the airlock, will you then switch to like the universal gravity where you're no longer tethered?
Yeah.
Like that just seem, and then turn it back on, it's like you will clip into everything. Like,
yeah, but it would be as broken as it is today. Because like right now, if you double tap space, you kind of detach, right? It would work exactly the same. So I think technically it's fine, but floating in 0G in such a tight space is not. It doesn't feel good. And that's the only reason why we don't have it. Yeah, venting the ship. I remember seeing must have been 2006. Someone made a mod for the Source engine because they had physics, and somebody had like one room where they had like kind of made this hack of like pushing all the crates outside a hole, simulating kind of like what would happen if you had a hull breach. And this person made a mod based on that short 10-second clip, and it was so cool. But then it's like, okay, everything gets sucked out, and then what? It's more of a visual thing, right? Like it's kind of like, how do you make something interesting out of that? It's cool in a movie. But yeah, that's it. We did have in the prototype of this game, like you could actually open all the doors to let all the oxygen out and then kill all the fires, but that was the problem. You would just kill all the fires and then like, okay, now what? So I did simulate oxygen in kind of all the rooms and stuff, but it was a lot of code. And then you were like, okay, I made this whole system where like you could have airlocks inside the ship and close all the doors, and then when all the systems were running, you would just be like, oh yeah, it works like normal because all the rooms have oxygen and that's it. It's like, okay. A lot of simulation that didn't end up in much. Problem is with air, like you can't see it, so you don't know like, oh, is there air or not behind this door, and that's kind of a tricky problem. Yeah.
What was I thinking about? Actually, I forgot something.
Having Bodybot taking out fires. Yes, I think we will eventually have him do a lot of the these emergencies that we don't have today. So, because we really want to marry the single player experience much closer to what the 3 or 4 player experience is. We just haven't had time. We'll get there. I don't think we will focus on that for this update though. I'm just reading all the comments here.
Yeah, it's been a lot of questions the whole hour. So repeat your questions and we'll see what we can. There's always too many to go through, but it's super nice that people are so curious.
What do you hate in the game the most?
For us or for them?
No. I know what I don't like, but what I like, what I think, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. What sucks the most and what should we change?
Are enemy spawns bugged in multiplayer? No, they're not. We did a huge rework to the on foot gameplay, and we're basically tuning it. Yeah. So I don't know if the patch is already out or if it's coming within the hour or two. We're doing tunings to the single player experience, very easy and easy. But yeah, I understand if you get a shock, if you're used to play on the hardest and then you just jump in playing on the hardest and then you get your ass kicked, because it's a huge difference now.
Yeah, I mean, like going through this as like not a game designer, like it's always so like humbling and interesting to see like how hard it is to balance things perfectly, like especially with our game that has so many factors like that determine your power level. It's like your
RNG on what you find, your like pilot level, because
Yeah.
you get augments, your ship components just get stronger. Like 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 you are now a better ground fighter because of sliding. So as you get better with that, you can outmaneuver more stuff. So like there's so many things to consider when it's tough.
Yeah. Let's see if somebody said something. I don't like the most is how the empty each section kind of feels. I don't feel the desire to explore them and just do a mission and get out. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I just mentioned with the adding points of interest and dynamically spawn in things in the sectors that you already know. Providing options like, okay, we can do this thing and the main objective if you want to, but sometimes you might not have resources or you're not able to, or you feel like it's too risky. So that's one of the ways we're going to try to populate the levels a bit more. So that's something I really look forward to, because I do agree. Despite the fact that we have, I don't know how many levels, like 70, there is still this feedback of like, feels empty. Shouldn't. So we're gonna fix that.
I think there's a lot of cool stuff that we could do. I mean, like work in more of the game mechanics into like them be more present in the game.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned the trader. If you're gonna do something with the traders, 100%. Right now we're looking at using credits to trade rather than materia, and that it should be like, I know somebody also complained about there's no materia, it's so hard to play the game and you feel starved all the time. One big change we did for this update was that when you make a decision on where to jump, and it says, okay, this destination has supplies, this destination has equipment, this destination has materia, that means that if you need materia, you need to go for the one that has materia. If you don't, you're gonna be starved for materia. So like every destination is sort of narrowed into fixing heat, but if you fix heat, you don't really get any resources you need to fix your ship. So it's like either or. So we really want to motivate you to kind of make those strategic decisions, and maybe even at the beginning, okay, in what sequence do we make these jumps, to both get some resources for our ship, but also lower the heat. And the trader plays the part of trying to equalize those issues, where like, okay, maybe you went too hard on the heat, now you have some gold, but you're running out of time, and you really need that material, you really need that repair kit. You can actually go to the trader to fix it. So that's the hope and the goal of making the trader much more valuable than it is right now. So yeah, basically have him trade for credits and sort of have him offer things that, you might, if you bank too hard in one direction, whether it's too much materia or too much heat, and then you're like, oh crap, we can't finish the finale, the ending. The trader should be the one that kind of helps you do some padding there. Okay. Any ideas on ways to encourage players to switch between stations and roles more often during missions to discourage having defined roles? I actually don't know. I think that depends on the group you're playing with. I think some groups or groups of friends tend to kind of get stuck in playing in a certain way. Not all roles are relevant all the time, right? Like if you're docked, you don't need a pilot. You might not need someone on the sensors. Right now you barely need someone on the sensors at all. We don't have any plans on sort of changing how those mechanics work, because we see that it seems to be a bit more personal preference. Like some groups tend to play in a certain way. We at the office, we play in a different way, and so on. And I think that's how it should be, that it's up to you as a group or you as a person. I remember back in the day, I had one friend, he was like, I'm gonna sit in the turret. I'm like, there's no enemies. I don't care. I'm the turret guy. And I think that's fine. So yeah, unless someone comes up with an idea, 'cause you don't want to force that on people as well. Like if somebody really wants to sit in the turrets the whole time, then maybe they should be allowed to do so.
Yeah, I mean they should be able to make some kind of build for that, like specking into the gunner.
Oh yeah, I can drop one thing for the next update. We are gonna ship a new ship, and judging by what people have been wanting, I think they're gonna be really excited about it. It's not the battle cruiser, but it's definitely towards
Yeah.
battle cruiser. It's gonna be a big heavy thing with lots of special weapons rather than just what we have now. And that's gonna make you play in a very different way than you do today. We really want every ship to have a very distinct kind of play style.
Yeah.
And this one most likely geared towards full crew, 4 players, and maybe not playable at all if you play alone. So that's gonna be really fun.
Probably slower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To some extent, you don't want it to be like so slow it sucks to be the pilot. We have to find a good middle ground, of course.
Oh, man, I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
it looks pretty badass. Yeah.
now we have to commit to the like they've been asking for the new ship since we
That's
launched.
why I say it on live stream. So like we are committed now because I want to see it. So if I make a promise to you, we have to make it in the studio.
And we'll like between now and summer we'll share some teasers of when
100%.
when the outside is.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking about maybe we should let the community decide what the name is. So we'll post a poll of like here's
That'd be
four,
fun.
like 4 name candidates, and then you get to name the ship.
Yeah. So okay, this is what we're gonna do. Further down the line, when we're gonna show it a little bit earlier, so you guys kind of see a little bit of it, and then you guys will vote based on how it looks and you know how you think it plays.
Deal? Deal.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's the battle cruiser.
No.
But it's in that direction, and I'm really excited to play it. Actually, we haven't gotten to play it yet.
Yeah. Do we need to remind the people here, if some people are not aware of our promise of at 1 million?
Oh yeah, sorry, I just expect everybody to know. So the battle cruiser that I keep talking about is I made a promise way back that if we sell 1 million copies, we're gonna make a battle cruiser because I thought it was so unlikely. I don't think it's unlikely anymore.
It can happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Oh yeah.
So
how many sales are we at? We are at 7, I think.
Close to 700k. Yeah, almost there. So
700k. Ish.
we're getting there, and tell all your friends to buy it. And if you haven't, please buy the supporter pack.
Buy it.
You know, we could use all the money. You know, someone needs to pay my salary, so that's great.
So at that point, then we'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, now we're in a secure position, and Philip himself will sit down and just sketch up the battleship.
Yeah, the Battlecruiser is interesting because it's like you would expect something really big. I think it would be so fun if it didn't move. It was so big, it would just sit there. It had 1 million cannons, but you just
I think, I mean,
couldn't move with it.
can we make that work for all sectors so that you can just play a sector but not move?
Yeah, technically, I don't see a single like you can just kite all the ships back to. I mean, technically, it would be possible to finish every sector with a static ship, and it would just sit there. You would just have missiles, or I would really like to try out having small fighters. So like every player could have their own fighter.
Oh yeah.
And something like that. So the battlecruiser just sitting there, and then you're all flying your own little.
We
thing.
we did half promise that as well.
Oh, I did.
Because
Okay.
people have been asking, like,
Yeah.
to create small cruisers. We're like,
Maybe I should promise more things because then we have to make it. But yeah, I think we really want to make it. It's a little bit too early to kind of because it's technically a larger thing to do, but it's so fun and so cool that we shouldn't skip it. So.
yeah, we'll see if those two things are combined. But
Yeah.
at some point, you've said that we're gonna add some kind of.
Yeah. No, but I think we should. I mean, it's too exciting not to.
It's too cool to skip.
Someone asked about Xbox. It's a good question. We have prioritized fixing the AMD graphics cards and all these freezes and stuff like that. And I think on some machines, those freezes probably ends up in a hang or a crash at the end of it. If we have freezes here of 5 seconds or something, I can imagine someone with a really lousy computer somewhere where it just gives up and you press escape and kill the application. So we've been focusing on that. With that said, we have we have someone like a group working on the Xbox, and I can't say for sure, but it would not surprise me if we submit it to Microsoft next week. But I can't promise that. But it's in the works. We might have a build that maybe works, but it could also be whoops, it only runs for an hour and then crashes or whatever, and then we have to look at why. But like, we are working on it, but don't expect it tonight or tomorrow. Hopefully next week. Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yes. Unfortunate, but it's just
Yeah.
how it is.
Some people have mentioned working what's called crossplay, or having people on the Xbox playing with the PC people. It's a feature that might come in the future, but I don't think we will look at that until 1.0, the final version of the game. Right now, the Xbox and the PC, we have so much moving parts that we're still trying to make work technically, that just having the Xbox work at all is almost too much for us to bear. So, and it's our fault, and I apologize so much for all the pain that we've caused all the Xbox players, but it's definitely not something we've given up on, and we even have a bunch of two new guys to kind of help out with sorting out the memory issues on the Xbox, which are real and big, and we have to fix it, of course. But it's gonna happen. So the way I see it is, okay, make Xbox work really well, and then have it working well, doing updates at the same time as the PC, and prove to ourselves that we're able to do that for quite some time before we even consider doing crossplay. But with that said, crossplay is not technically something that's impossible at all. It's not that having the games talking to each other, that's not the problem. The problem is when we make changes. We have a really amazing kind of pipeline on kind of Steam, where for me doing a change and having that change going live is less than an hour if we have to, right, on the PC. But if you do crossplay, that means the PC has to wait until the Xbox is ready for it, and suddenly you have to double check. Wait a minute, Xbox is a little bit different. We have to double check that things are working on the Xbox. That takes a couple of hours extra, and then we have to take into account that Microsoft has to kind of, we don't really know. Sometimes it's super quick, and sometimes it takes much longer, and then we have to wait with a PC for that to happen. And I don't know which version, which number of, how many hotfixes we've done to the game already. I think we're over 30. That's on average 1 update per week. I think in some cases right now, for example, we're doing updates every single day. Imagine the headache if we have to make the Xbox work, and sort of we don't know when the Xbox is gonna be working, we don't know when Microsoft's gonna approve us, and then we have the list of hot fixes because you're all upset about some balancing issue, it just grows and grows, and sort of so it's way too early to kind of think about these things, but I don't want to close that door. I think once the game is in a better shape and more ready for it, and the updates that we're doing are much more focused on new levels, new content, new enemies, then yeah, sure, we can talk about it. But right now we're redesigning so much things, and we're doing so many big drastic design or balancing changes that I think it's a bit way too much to kind of bite to chew to fix. So
And yeah, I mean, that's what someone in Discord said. It's that's why you don't see a lot of early access games on the consoles, because it is so much extra work to handle 2 platforms when things are still changing so much, and generally more unstable.
Yeah.
And, like
Yeah, it is a
This stuff
weird one
happens.
because you know, it's very hard to kind of like in theory it doesn't sound like a problem. You just like you click here, okay, now we have a build for PC. Click here, you have a build for Xbox. Same code, should be fine, right? But then you have all this fluff around it, and the fact that we're so few people, and you know, you really want to play the game for a few hours at least until you say, okay, this is ready to ship. You know, nothing bad snuck in there, and all that kind of fluff just creates this kind of problem where like something that maybe takes an hour suddenly takes days or weeks even, and you don't want to end up there. Or like, you know, especially if somebody makes a mistake, you know, you do 10 changes and one of them is bad. Crap, we have to roll back that thing out and do another build and try again. For us now, that would, you know, add 1 or 2 hours extra, which is fine, still within one workday. But if you have a console, then it's like, don't even know when things are gonna happen. So it's one of those things where it just adds up and makes everything exponentially more complicated, sadly. But yeah, it's how it is. And one thing I want to rant about, and now this is one of the things where like I would never be able to rant about if I didn't have my own studio, is we have the AMD versus Intel and Nvidia. I want to give you a pro tip. I haven't been working on a single studio in the gaming industry that does not do Nvidia. So if you want stable drivers and graphics cards that work the way the developers intended, get Nvidia. You didn't hear it from me. I didn't say that, but now you know.
someone else did. Yeah. Yeah, let me. We're getting close to wrapping up, but I
Yeah.
wanted to again to remind you. People are asking about the railgun. Can you buff the range? Of
Yes.
the
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so sorry. I have I have it on my machine, but it's one of the things that I didn't dare to submit it. I want to try it for 1 or 2 days, so it's gonna happen next week.
Coward, you're scared.
Yeah.
Just submit it.
Yeah. So what's happening is the special weapon, the railgun, has been a bit underpowered, and people have been frustrated. And it's like, come on, it just sucks in every way. And there's been a technical limitation of, well, like the range. You know, when you see out of range on enemy icons, that's hard coded. So it's like, even if you increase the range of any weapon, it would say out of range, even though you actually could shoot stuff. So I had to do a lot of code fixes to make the railgun, you know, shoot much further than the regular weapons. And then it's like, okay, balancing issue. You can shoot enemies before they see you. We have to kind of compensate for that somehow. So like, okay, maybe the recharge time is much longer. Maybe it eats a lot of ammo, but you can have 2 of these things, which means you can basically delete 2 ships in every combat encounter. Is that good or bad? Is it too overpowered? So there's a lot of those things that matter as well. But I know like everybody wants it to be this thing that can like do all these things. So I have the changes on my machine. I want us to play together a little bit and people to kind of have a feel for it. So we're going to do a specific update with the railgun. I think we'll ship it next week, early next week probably. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had it in for the demo and then removed it out of frustration, and then people have been pissed at me. We even had like downvotes on Steam because of that feature, that we never fixed it. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, like, people love it, so like, you just have to give them this.
Yeah.
Despite it not being balanced and it's too strong, it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Like-
should we take one last question before we round out, or?
Yeah, I mean, something new that we haven't, like, I see people just jumping in and asking about stuff we've already covered. So
Yeah,
one more
just-
question.
okay.
And then we recap quickly
Okay.
what we talked about. Find
Well, I want to say one thing to the audience, and that is like, I think people missed it, but like the last update, enemies actually drop ammo, and that's kind of a huge thing.
yes.
So, and then if we haven't released the update already, I don't see it in the patch notes. I think it should be out very soon. Try it again. You know, we were making the game easier and more balanced on lower difficulty levels. And if you're still unhappy, if you have any feedback on enemies being too spongy or whatever, make a video where you feel like
this is a clear example of where it should happen in a certain way, but it plays in another way, and I hate it. And here's the video proving that to you guys. So we get some evidence to actually look at and discuss. It's sometimes very difficult to kind of go like, okay, but which challenge rating, blah blah blah. But with a video, it's kind of much more clear. You know, a picture says more than 1,000 words, and then a video is like a multiplier by 1,000,000. So whenever you have frustrations regarding balancing, like just make a video of the thing that pisses you off, and that helps us. We could use that video and discuss it here in the studio, and we've done that yesterday and the day before that, thanks to you guys recording, proving, showing the frustration you're having. So I think that's great. Cool.
Good stuff. Oh wait, should we, I mean we can if we want to be a little cheeky. I mean we can mention something, but then just refuse to elaborate.
Okay, I'm gonna mention one thing. Space sharks. That's it.
That's not, that's not what I meant, but that too.
What did you mean then?
This that I'm pointing at. This.
Oh. Should we wait with that one?
I
No,
mean-
I'm not gonna mention it. We're gonna do it
okay,
next time.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Next time. Okay. But you haven't forgotten about the sharks. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I haven't forgotten about it. You're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I mean, I've seen that, but I'm like, do we have anything to? Yeah. Okay. So sharks, and then something new for.
Hmm?
There's something shush that we've been.
Yeah. We're doing a lot of exciting things. Okay, so
But
cool.
yeah, like just that I can put at the start of this when it comes together. So like recapping everything that we've said. Heated update is out. We see that you're loving the new concepts, which is great. Balancing for the new, like reworking the enemies, we went a bit crazy, so we're dialing it down a little bit. And performance stuff with stuttering using the new renderer, DX12, we're aware of it, and we're fixing that as well. It's gonna like
try DX11 if you know, for a lot of people that works better, and especially for an AMD card, we're super aware that it performs a lot worse right now. So we're working on that as well.
Yeah.
A good thing is the more you play, the less of these stutters you will see, to a point where it's gonna be completely away. So sure, first impression might be very bad right now, but like give it an hour or two, and then it will be better.
Yeah. And then we have some more changes coming in like the next 1 or 2 weeks that did make it in for the big one. And then for the next few months up until summer, we have a bunch of things we'll pack into one big update, improving the ship combat, a new like player ship life system, persistent inventory somehow, renown system, just a bunch of stuff. I keep forgetting what we talked about.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of things, and I'm sure, you know, we have a lot to show in the coming videos as well. So really appreciate a lot of you is still watching. I thought people would be like, fuck it. Been rambling for an hour.
So yeah, again, we'll for people who don't want to sit through the whole hour or prefer to read dev posts, we'll condense everything once we have a more solid plan for the summer, and then we can tease some more stuff.
Yeah.
And then new ship. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have any feedback, like write it. Like we do read stuff. Like write it in the feedback forum. Please attach a video if it's something that frustrates you or you want to change. And you know, a picture says more than 1,000 words, and a video is just a multiplier on that. So videos are always greatly appreciated when it comes to things that just are a bit hard to explain in words. That's super helpful. All right.
We're gonna call it there. I think we need to go and playtest.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And there will be a patch soon, very soon out.
and yeah, you'll see the announcement. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And you can always write to us in the Discord for more questions we failed to answer. Come talk to us.
I'm out of beer.
We can answer everything.
Yep.
And